was right, but there were accidents. Forgetful sleepers got up and plunged their feet into boots full of ice-cold urine. But of course, the Russians were advancing on all fronts. Hooray! The Yanks were coming. And we had our first case of crabs. The victim was Gunner Milligan. The MO wasn't. He wrote out a prescription for blue unction. Gunner Milligan entered boots during the Friday rush hour. Fortunately, these boots weren't full of... Excuse me. Can I have some blue unction?
Blue unction? Yes. I've got bloody crabs.
Crabs? It's a fish shop now.
It was after lights out that some of the most hysterical moments occurred. Those who had been drinking heavily soon made it known by their great asphyxiating postern blasts that cleared the beds all around for as far as 100 feet. There were even more gentlemen who performed feats with their unwanted nether winds that not even the great Peterming could have eclipsed. Simply, they set fire to them. The artiste would bend down, and his assistant stood by with a lighted match. When the artiste let off, he ignited it. Using this method, I have seen sheets of blue flame up to 3 feet in length. There was a certain signaller X whose control of the anal sphincter allowed him to pass Morse code messages. With my own ears, I heard him send, "Hello, dear mother." This crude military life was terrible for our Jehovah Witness. Poor Bombardier MacDonald, through all the vulgarity, letting off and blasphemy, his voice would come out of the darkness.
I tell yous all, repent. The day of judgment is at hand. Armageddon is nigh. Only they that believe will be saved.
Peace off!
Bollocks!
Also.
Mock you now, but hear me. When Jehovah cometh, you will stand to be judged.
Also.
Bollocks!
Peace off! Every weekend, we'd find his pamphlets on our beds.
And the terrible end they came to.
But the pressure was too much, and gradually MacDonald started to drink and swear.
I tell yous, the bloody day is at hand.
Indeed, it was. The end of the holy man was nigh. One night it came to pass that Gunner James Devine was on midnight guard when he was awakened by a rhythmic thumping from the back of a coal shed. Investigation showed the bombardier with his trousers round his ankles, having a late-night knee trembler with the local fat girl. The noise was her nut thumping against the partition. Gunner Devine watched until the climax was nigh, and then... Halt! Who comes there? MacDonald ran into the night screaming.
Armageddon, Armageddon, and surely the witch will inherit your head.
The girl, still in a sexual coma, was given Gunner Devine's rifle to hold while he terminated her contract. Truly, they also serve who stand and wait. Amen. During the 1941, the sole stratagem of the army in England was one of continual movement. The moves were always highly secretive and came in highly sealed envelopes, the contents of which usually appeared in later editions of the Bexhill Observer. Secrecy was impossible. Enemy agents only had to follow the trail of illegitimate births. News came that we were to be billeted in Turkey Road Girls' School. It was a pity because the girls had left. But it was for us a paradise. Large clean rooms, parquet floors, large ballroom showers, and a brand new upright piano on which Harry could play that bloody awful Warsaw Concerto. From here, we ran our own dances. Sex in those days. It was that or the flicks, and flicks cost money. There was a lovely busty bird called Beryl who had hot pants for me. She used to keep them in the oven. During the interval of our first dance at Turkey Road, I took her to the lorry park, then to the back of a 15 underweight truck. We were going through our third encore when the truck drove off. Through the flap, I saw our chauffeur with Sergeant Boner, Big Ball's ewes. The weight in my guts. I don't know why. I'd never showed them to him. It stopped at Hastings. He left the truck up an alley, and he went into the White Lion for a drink. Slipping into the driving seat, I drove it back. Forward, that is, and I arrived in time to play the second half of the dance, where Edgerton was sweating at the piano.
Where the bloody hell have you been?
Hi, Harry. I've been having it off in the back of a lorry, and I got carried away. And by the way... One Sunday morning, while we Roman Catholic gunners were at our devotions, pontoon, suddenly Bombardier Bassett entered.
Beat, hey, mate! Eddie, we haven't got you been. All I want to say there, you get up for the full kit. Not over you, 600 out there, unexpired for you. Not over the full FSMO. Now then, get your kit on that fucking truck.
Come on, lads. Let's get our kit on that fucking truck, eh?
This could be promotion for you.
An hour later, we were dumped into the dung-filled yard of a requisitioned livery stable. Under those conditions, I'd have been livery too, folks. It was sort of a dog breeder's kennels at the junction of the Hailsham-Eastbourne Road. The place, Robin's Post, Hailsham, Sussex. The signal section was a law unto itself. We organised the duty roster to suit ourselves. We opted for 1 week's duty on and 1 off. It was all right having a whole week off, but it became boring. So a sleeping contest was inaugurated. The rules were...
The contestants will at no time leave the bed. The first to do so is disqualified.
So, diddles were done out the back window at night, standing on a bed. Food was hauled up in a kit bag when the naffy was called. And the contestants were Gunners Milligan, Edgerton, White, Devine and Files. There we lay for 5 days and nights, telling jokes, recounting the past, and whistling the Warsaw Concerto.
Here, you know what I like to do to Comrade Jones?
What?
Tie the post, then shoot him with a blunderbuss over his own shot.
When I leave the army, I'm not going to do anything for a year.
You know what I'd like now? 4 fried eggs, chips, bacon, tomatoes, and daddy's sauce.
Too many eggs give you a deal.
I think this war will do.
Do you?
Well,
What do you mean, do you Scotch git?
no, stop. You know, I mean, everyone will get fed up. I'm fed up already.
So am I. Let's all fuck off.
Yeah, look here, lend us a fag.
You always scrounging fucking fags. What you do with them?
I smoke 'em. Oh.
Edgerton won the contest with 6 days, 7 hours, and a bed full of it. About now, the owner of the livery stables gave a dance for the livery officers from local British and Canadian units. We were detailed to play. The dance was held in a large and uncomfortable country-style lounge. Soon the floor was crowded, and drinks for the band were arriving at a steady rate. Without warning, the Canadian officer poured beer into the bell of my saxophone, which he thought was funny. I threw the contents over his jacket, something he didn't think was funny. He grabbed the saxophone. "Let go," I said. "This is a solo instrument." Our host rushed over. The Canadian was told...
It's not the done thing, Maple Leaf Chappie.
The dance continued, and we played a Scottish reel. At once the floor became a mass of bleating thin twits.